Alright guys, so right now I'm going to do a random Jujutsu Kaisen take, and the take is going to be that Junpei should have had a more larger role in the story than to be a sacrificial pawn. There is so many different things that they could have did with Junpei's character that would have very much risen the show up for me, especially because of the whole dynamic of his character and Mahito, in which Mahito was training him. And I feel like it would have been better for him to stay alive than to be dead. One of the ways he could have risen the show up is by being the rival character for Itadori, as we know that Itadori and, Junpei were being friends at that time, and Itadori invited him to go to Jujutsu High with them. We also know that Mahito was his trainer because that was the whole point of his character. And with Mahito being his trainer, it could very much be a secret spy and a secret way into Jujutsu High with him being there. Plus, he doesn't even think that Mahito is a bad person, so he was, a part of that. Not to only state that he was basically a grade 2 sorcerer in a few days of training with Mahito. He was able to keep his own with Itadori, though Itadori wasn't trying, but he still had only a few days of training, and he was able to do that. And I feel like he could have also stood his own in that situation if it wasn't for him letting Mahito touch him. And we know that when it comes to main characters, they always have a rival character, and I feel like Junpei would have fit that role, especially with the way his character was going. I feel like it would have been better for Itadori to have killed him as a bad guy than for him to just have his soul rearranged as a, unknown kid. Junpei very much could have been a semi-bad guy of the story that had to be killed off by Itadori, and it would have still had the same effect as when he was killed by Mahito, but better. And we can even go into the dynamic of how his character would have worked. He would have been both, swapped sides most of the time, and he would be indecisive on which side is good or bad, because he trusts his Mahito, but he also trusts his Itadori. And it would have made him more dynamic for his character, as he had to fight between good or evil throughout the whole show until Itadori had to inevitably kill him due to him choosing the wrong side. And I feel like that would have been way more impactful. It would have let us get to know his character more after the death of his mother, and him having to know that Mahito was the one who killed his mother. And it could have either had Itadori kill him or have him go to the actual good side, learning that Mahito was the one who killed his parent, and didn't have Mahito kill him off like that, or even just keep him alive. But it would have had the story dynamic of him being both good or bad, and being on a bad side as Itadori's enemy. And that's just a few ways they could have used, Junpei's characters that I can think of. But there's so many different ways they could have went with this character that it would have been very more interesting if they kept him alive. Now, I'm not throughout the whole manga. I don't know what's going on next in the manga. But I do know that in the current manga part that I am in, I feel like Junpei could have still made the story what the story was if he was still alive. And he could have still went on the same path, but had a different way of going down that path if Junpei was still alive, if you understand what I mean. So that's why I think Junpei should have stayed alive, at least for long enough until they actually had a real way of killing him in a more impactful way. And this is by no means me saying that the author was wrong for killing off Junpei. I'm just saying that I feel like Junpei could have been more crucial to the story. Anyways, have a nice day guys, and I'll see y'all next time.